Hi, this is Catherine Morgan from Point A to Point B Transitions. I'm also the editor of Carol Roth's blog, Business Unplugged. Speaking of, I'm speaking with Carol Roth today.
Noted Blackhawks fan.
Yes, noted Blackhawks fan, clearly getting very excited.
Yes, very much so, very much so. Back in the swing of things. So what do we have today, Catherine?
Today we're going to talk about time and why people seem to think they don't have enough of it, and why you and I are probably calling BS on that.
Oh my God, so this has been the biggest pet peeve for me, that I see people all day long. I wish I could write a book. I wish I had more time to put a post out there. I wish I had time to create a new product or a service. You are dicking around on the internet all day long. I see you. I'm watching you do this. And something like a book, if you think about a tweet, even if your tweets are only 100 characters, if you put out 10 of those a week, that's 1,000 words. And over 10 weeks, that's 10,000 words. So stop doing that online to be clever and to get like 5 clicks, and start putting it towards something that you want to create. If you don't have the time, it's because you're not prioritizing your time well. It's not because there aren't enough hours in the day for you to do the things you want to do. Am I wrong here, Catherine?
You are not wrong here. I also call nonsense on the time thing for most people. I almost had things thrown at me when I was giving my productivity talk in LA. And I said, you know what, if you really don't think you have enough time, stop watching television. And LA being the center of TV was just like, oh! And I said, yeah, the average American watches 4 hours of television a day.
They binge an entire Netflix series. You're watching 10 episodes in one sitting. Maybe just watch 1 or 2.
Sure, and I'm not saying don't watch TV, but I'm saying don't use that as an excuse, as you said, to not do something for your business or for yourself that's of a higher priority or a higher value.
Right. I mean, there's creation and there's consumption, and we're doing far too much on the consumption side because there are so many things to consume now. You can consume it in any way. You can consume it on your phone. You can consume it online on your computer. Any way that you want to consume it at any hour of the day, there's more than enough stuff to take up your time, but that doesn't mean it's a good use of your time. So you have to prioritize doing some creation. And the funny thing is, you're already probably creating. You're creating text messages. You're creating Facebook posts. You're just creating the wrong shit. So get your shit together.
Right. And how many people have gotten the first draft for their first book together by consolidating blog posts that they wrote for their business? A lot of folks I know.
Exactly. And if you think about a blog post today, 500 words, 700 words, 1,000 words, a max tweet is 280 words. So you can't string 4 of those together and come up with one blog post and do that, every single day or multiple times a day. You will be amazed at what you create if you actually put some intention and focus behind what it is that you want to create, instead of just like spewing up garbage and putting it out there. Where there's plenty of that, we need no more of that in the universe.
Right. And I'm going to give a pro tip. If you really can't figure out where your time is going, like right off the bat, start keeping track of how you spend your time. I call it a time leaks inventory, because we might not even know that certain things are giant time sucks for us because they're just a habit and we probably don't even take notice of them.
Yeah, and I mean, I've seen people in businesses before where they're on the phone with colleagues bitching about things for 3 hours. And they said, oh, well, I was on a work call for 3 hours. Like, no, you were in a bitch fest for 3 hours. You weren't doing anything other than, playing around the water cooler. So you have to be very honest with, what did I actually do during that time? Was it really a work call? Did it need to be 3 hours long? And did I get anything accomplished? And so I would add sort of the accomplishments and the goals, and are they serving the purposes that you're trying to do?
And I would ask people to be a little ruthless with themselves about their social media engagement. Like, I stopped calling my time on Facebook business time because a lot of it was social. And kind of about the time when I said, well, maybe I shouldn't be doing this, I started getting a lot of referrals from Facebook. So it's a combo, but I do not allocate it as part of my business time. That goes in the social column.
And I use it as a treat. So I use it as a reward. I do something on my to-do list, and then I get a few minutes to go screw around, and then I get to come back and do the next thing. So whatever methodology works for you, but you have to have a strict methodology, and you have to be honest with yourself. So I love your time tracking tip, Catherine. I think everybody should do that.
And one thing I'd like you to talk about before we wrap this up is I know that you are a big fan of batching tasks. Can
Yes.
you evangelize that for us?
So this is, everyone has their own workflow, but I find that in switching tasks that it often takes a long time just from a mental standpoint to kind of get in the flow with something. So if I am writing, I will often write 5, 10, 15 posts in one sitting in a day or a day or two, even if they're not due for 3 months or 4 months. As long as they're not tied to the news, there's no reason not to do that. I get in the flow and I get that task done as a whole instead of having to restart the process over and over again. So if you have like-minded things that you're doing, that you should do those all together, one after the other, while you have that rhythm, and then kind of part and parcel them versus trying to continue to switch back and forth from your tasks.
Yeah, the thought of writing that much in a row makes me really twitchy, even though I'm a pretty good writer. But I would definitely do that for follow-ups, follow up with everybody in a row, or if I was doing any direct outreach to get people to interview for the depression discussions, I might do that all in a row.
Or even with writing, one thing you can do is you can outline everything one day. So you can write down, here are all the posts and here are all the bullets. So you do that in a batch, and then you go back and then you write them in chunks. So there's a way to batch the steps in between as well.
That's actually great advice. And when you go to write a post, you're not looking at the blank page going, I have no idea. That's one of the great tips that you gave me a long time ago about content, was to keep a running list of topics that are of interest, so you're not scrambling for topics.
Topics, and then your key bullet points and takeaways. And if you have the basic topic and the points you want to make, it makes it much easier to go back and fill in the content than trying to just kind of, think of something from scratch. Okay,
so to wrap this up, we call BS on the fact that you don't have time. Clearly, you're not prioritizing it and carving out the time for it. And most of us probably have more time than we think if we ruthlessly look at how we're allocating.
Yeah, so go do something.
Says Carol.